Welcome to Small Arms Solutions. Today we're looking at an AK. I haven't done any reviews on AKs in a while, but this one here is on an Arsenal SAM7SF. Now, according to my good buddy William, as you might know, Michiko, he seems to think that these are probably the finest AKs in the industry, and I can't necessarily argue with him on that. I'm not as much of an AK connoisseur as I am AR-15 M16, but I do have to say that Arsenal makes some very nice AKs. Now, maybe a year or two ago, I did a review on one of their AK-74s. The AK-74, again, I'm much more fond of AK-74s than I am AK-47s. Unfortunately, that model is no longer offered. Arsenal's not offering any more 5.45 rifles. And I guess some interesting perspective on this. Probably about a year or two ago, I was at a trade show. I believe it was in the UAE. And I had a chance to sit down and talk with one of the reps from Arsenal. And they seem to be pretty anti-Russian themselves. If the Russians do it, they don't. They particularly do not like 5.45. They won't use it. They think it's not powerful enough. It was funny because I was talking to the gentleman about it. I said, ballistically, it is superior. And, he would go up and down and say, no, it wasn't. Same thing with the receivers. What you're going to see here on this rifle, this is a complete forged milled receiver. This is probably one of the few rifles left, AK types left, that utilize a forged milled receiver. They don't believe that the stamped receivers are nearly as strong, and they would rather take the extra weight for the trade-off, which is very unusual. Considering you got probably Finland and Valmet, and you got the original Galils. Pretty much everything else is all stamped. I mean, it was the problem with the stamping was really, really early on in the 50s. And when the AKM came out, they pretty much had corrected all the issues as far as the durability and the strength of the stamp receivers. This particular model here, what makes this one so unique is it is the only AK in the industry that folds to the right. Every other AK that has a side folder always folds to the left. Now, there's a very big benefit to having it fold on the right, because your scope mount, as you can see right here, if it was to fold to the left, you would cover that up, and that would affect your ability to have an optic on there. It also affects your ability to have it close. So by folding to the right side, you don't have any impact on that whatsoever. You can fire it with the stock closed, and it's not going to affect the extraction or ejection either. The rifle will function just fine. And if you also notice, this has a FAL type stock. The standard stocks you'd see the Russians use are more of the, if you want to call them the skeleton type. It's a lot thinner, a lot less heavy. Just as comfortable. I don't think it's any more or less comfortable than what you see here. It's primarily so you can utilize the scope mount on the side. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go through this from back to front. First, we'll show you how you unlatch the stock. You push this lever forward, and that closes up right here. First, we have an AK-74 style muzzle brake. Now, in my opinion, this is probably the finest muzzle brake in the industry. However, it is a flash enhancer. It does a very good job on recoil, but it has an extreme amount of flash, so you're definitely not going to be concealed with it. Your thread pitch on here is going to be 24 by 1.5 millimeter right hand threads, so you would be able to utilize force suppressors or whatnot. Now, for as far as the quality of the threads on here, for as far as if they're in line with the bore, I can't really say. You probably have to test that for yourself to see if it's suitable for a suppressor, because that's one of the issues that you come across with these guns is your threads or your bore is not concentric. That can affect your ability to install a sound suppressor. The barrel is an excellent chrome-lined hammer-forged barrel for durability and reliability. You will still have stocks of ammunition that are still corrosive. So by having that chrome plating in the bore and chamber, you're going to avoid all the rust. A typical AK gas system. As you can see here, we have a plum. These are the plum in color. Standard AK-74 style upper and lower. Now, these are American-made. Both handguards as well as the pistol grip, they're all 922R compliant, so it complies with federal law for imports. You have an 800 meter sight. You'll notice on the pistol grip here, we have a special pistol grip which permits you to be able to use the ambi safety. So from your left hand, you'll be able to engage and disengage the safety. You do have a heat shield in this handguard as well. Again, we have a 7.62 by 39 millimeter caliber. As I previously stated, the Bulgarians are not fond of the 5.45 whatsoever. The total length is 38.2 inches, and with the folded length is 28.4. Your cold hammer forged barrel has 4 lands and groove with a right hand twist. It's a 1 turn and 9.44 inches. You have an overall weight of 8.5 pounds, and a maximum effective range of 400 yards. Now 400 yards, that I think is very, very generous for most AKs with iron sights, but this does have a very good quality barrel on it. Now you also have a Msrp. This is not a cheap AK. You're looking at $1,469, but you are getting a very, very well-built, indestructible rifle. Now, for as far as magazines, it comes with this 10-shot magazine. This is just a Bulgarian manufactured 10-round magazine. Now, for testing, we utilize a standard. This is a Russian. We also utilize the Magpul PMag Gen 3, and also a CAA Polymer magazine. And we also have an East German magazine here too. And everything that was put in it ran beautifully. As far as the action on it, this is a very smooth action on it. Safety works very well. So we'll take it apart and we'll just take a look at the inside of it. Like any AK, push in, lift up. Again, for 922R compliance, you do have other American-made parts as well, which includes the hammer, trigger, and disconnector, as well as you have a stainless steel operating rod for 922R compliance. Very, very well machined. Removal of the gas block. But as you can see, we have a very nice finish on the barrel. You know, no machining whatsoever, which is pretty unique for an AK. But this is also what you're paying your money for, is this kind of a high quality. So just for reassembly, just put your gas block back on there. And again, if that gets a little bit too sticky, you can use your notch on your bolt. You see we have our bolt and our operating rod assembly charging handle. Very well machined. Insert your recoil spring. Now, one of the little tricks I've always had was for reinstallation is we set that right on top there. So we can drop the top cover right on, engage it in the groove, and we pull back. So that's a very easy way to reinstall your top cover. I was very pleased with the extremely smooth trigger pull, and it had no issue with any of the magazines that we put in, as I previously stated. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go to the range and we're going to see how this sucker shoots. The ammunition I shot was mostly the Wolf, and I did have some Federal American Eagle as well. You know, I only shot at 50 yards with it. Like I said, AKs I tend not to expect too much out of, so I was generally shooting at 50 yards, and you know, our groups were around within an inch to 2 inches in that area in there. Of course, the American Eagle ammunition did shoot better than any of the Wolf ammunition. But for as far as quality is concerned, you have many options with Arsenal. You have different types of stocks. You have fixed stocks. You have underfolding stocks. You have different muzzle brake systems. You can get the standard, the slant muzzle brake versus this type here. But again, I have to say, I think that this muzzle brake is the finest in the industry. You know, it's I guess you have to make a decision whether you're more concerned about recoil or you're more concerned about muzzle flash. If you look at the way the United States is, we're more concerned with muzzle flash than we are recoil. The Bulgarians obviously are more concerned with recoil than they are muzzle flash. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment. I'll try and get back to you. If you enjoyed this video, please click like, please subscribe, and even better, share.